The fun-to-drive spirit of SUVs are now here. Many of Wesley Chapel has given us the 2023 Mini Cooper S Countryman in your Midnight Black 2 signature trim. All new design was last year. This year, it's going to add a Untamed Edition, which that package will add gray metallic paint with piano black exterior highlights on the S and the hybrid trim. Inside, the fun-to-drive SUV receives updated tech, sports seats. The larger Cooper goes against rivals like your Mazda CX-30, your Volvo XC40, even the Honda HR-V that's been redesigned. But is this one going to be more athletic, a fun to drive, kind of like a go-kart or a rally car? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over all the specs and details, starting now. The new Mini Cooper S Countryman is bigger. The front's gonna stress a clean look with less parts added. The iconic grille, it's bigger than before. Thicker start to a thinner exterior, giving a motion appearance as it stays still. And it gives us an insert for the chrome, and it flows into your LED headlamps, corner lights, and your fog lamps that are LED on the lower trim. The air inlets for the brakes, highlighted in black, is going to surround the front wheel well with 18-inch pair spoke wheels. The famous side scuttle LED turn lights. The side skirts are going to receive the silver that's going to flare out. The rear is cleaned up as much as possible, focusing on the lower bumper part with the gloss black and your dual exhaust outlets, making the exit look more simple and plain with the new LED Union Jack tail lights and the iconic chrome that surrounds the whole vehicle to keep the iconic Mini styling. It's not going to be the longest, the widest, tallest. It's going to be less than the Volvo XC40. They're going to set it up with a strut front suspension, a multi-link rear. Both the front and the rear will have a coil spring. Disc reading behind the front at 13 inches. The rear is at 11, both ventilated. Comparing this to the rivals, this has the iconic styling and a heritage history, whereas you don't have the same in the CX-30, the HR-V, or even the XC40, a length at 168.5 inches with a wheelbase at 105.1 inches. We do have the roof racks, which gives us more capabilities to do some fun, playful things. Clean and simple, and that's what we're looking for. We also have the best in class for cargo. So going inside at 17.5 cubic feet, you're gonna get some storage compartments on the side. You'll have your 12-volt charger. You have a storage tray underneath the bottom. The rear bench split folds to a 40-20-40 split, maxing the cargo to 47.9 cubic feet, towing over 3,300 pounds, a payload over 800 pounds. The curb weight to this is just a hair over 3,500 pounds. So when you have that small of a vehicle and you have this much capacity to actually do things, it's something nice. With the reverse camera, reverse parking sensors, this is a twin power turbo vehicle. Let's go inside, start it up so we can hear that exhaust note. The throaty exhaust note that you get out of this little engine is insane because, again, you have to consider the rivals are going to be heavier, they're going to be longer. This is still a big vehicle for Mini, however, it's not as big as the rivals. They back the performance with the 2.0 liter Mini twin power turbo, 4-cylinder, producing 189 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to a 7-speed Steptronic dual clutch automatic transmission, achieving 24 to 33 mpgs. That's good for a 0 to 60 around 6.8 seconds, which is quicker than the Honda HR-V and the Mazda CX-30, the base engine trim. Quarter mile at 15.2 seconds, which is faster than Mazda and Honda, and the top speed is faster than all of them, 135 miles per hour. That's insane for something that weighs just a touch over 3,500 pounds. You have technology, styling. I mean, this is definitely a fun adventure vehicle, and it more or less drives like a rally car, and yet it's an SUV. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 Mini Cooper S Countryman as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Mini Cooper S Countryman, you're going to receive 40.2 inches of head, 41.4 inches of leg, carbon black leatherette seating. They're heated. Manual adjustment for the front seats, which I get it, we're trying to save weight. There's sports front seats, so I do like that. The dashboard, simple, modern. You got the gloss black for all of your air vents and surrounding the lower lip. New decored elements to keep a flat surface. Mini reduces the amount of switches and buttons to the center display with a new look and feel in the infotainment. 8.8 touchscreen with navigation. We have the pinch, we have the swipe. This has Apple CarPlay, AM, FM, HD radio, XM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Standard is a 6-speaker. We have the upgraded Harman Kardon. Click into the app so you can see everything we have. We do have Amazon Alexa. If you click into your driving mode, you will start off with the green, your mid, and then you got your sports mode, which is going to be for your dynamic, and you can configure this, which is really cool, because when you click on the drivetrain or chassis, you'll see a little go-kart or a rocket. The same thing is going to be for the chassis, not on the drivetrain. So I do like the playful attributes they put. Switch to reverse, you have full trajectory. It doesn't cover the full screen, but you have your sensors on the left side, so it does make it relatively easy for your reversing. Dual climate control settings, you'll also see that around the gauge cluster. When you turn to heat or cold, you'll see it turn red or blue. When you're coming close to an object, it will also turn red. So I like all this funness that they're throwing inside, because you don't get that with the Mazda, you don't get that with the Volvo, and you don't get it at all with Honda as well. The focal point, though, for a Mini Cooper is the steering wheel. Focused on a modern flat black high gloss multi-button structure. And this is a leather wrapped sports design 3-spoke dynamic digital cluster that is attached to it. And you can go through an array of information more or less on the bottom as you're seeing me toggle it through. Otherwise, changing your driving mode will change the color in the center cluster. Elbows are going to be more firm to ride. Open up in here and you're going to have some storage. This also folds back and you got more storage. You can also adjust this to make it better for someone like me, because I'm 6'3". I like that we have the rally toggles underneath the dual climate control settings, because it gives us that heritage. You got a 12-volt USB. You have a storage tray, cup holders, 16.9 ounce fits without any issues. A 20 ounce is probably going to be close to max. The gear lever, I do like that with the leather that's around it. It's going to be more of a matte black around it with the iDrive mouse. It's non-touch. However, you can roll it if you need to. I mean, this is a touchscreen infotainment and it has voice recognition. Why do you need it? It's just for somebody that wants to play around. Door panels are going to have more harder materials on the top, but this is a Mini Cooper. Harman Kardon upgraded sound system. You're going to get that gloss black that's going to surround it. One touch up and down for all your windows. And the storage pocket is the largest. You can fit a lot of 16.9 ounce water bottles. Comparing it to the rivals, more storage in this. And the way it's designed, headroom is the best in class. Dual moonroof. Let's see how I look in the back. For the back seats, 38 inches of head, 34.3 inches of leg. I can fit pretty decent. You do sit up more and you're kind of more inside. There isn't anything here unless you find this little switch, fold it down, you can see what I mean, and now you have a harder substance, but at least you have an armrest. I would probably leave it up though, and when you put it up, this is actually the seat dimensions. So we have them already folded back almost all the way. These are all the way, so you get the dimensions. You have your two air vents in the center, gloss black around it, two USB-C ports, storage behind both of the front seats, non-flat floor, but this is a smaller SUV and you can still fit a lot of space, and what they do is they put it on the door panel. Harder materials on the top. I like that you receive the gloss black in the back and you get the speaker trim. It's going to be harder surfaces, one touch up and down, and the storage pocket is huge, just like the front, maybe 5 16.9 ounce water bottles. Comparing it to the rivals, this actually has more storage than Volvo XC40. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is not necessarily an issue. Legroom, I'm kind of grazing the back of the front seats in the position that I'd be sitting. I'm going to be sharing significant space for feet, butt, shoulder space. However, if I'm comparing it to the Mazda CX-30, this is going to be better and more optimal in the center. The Honda HR-V was refreshed, 10 inches longer than it was in the prior generation, so you can actually fit in the center. And the Volvo XC40 is not necessarily too bad either, because they're both box structured SUVs. But this one, because of the 60-40-60 split, I actually feel like I'm fitting more in the center than I do in the rivals. But the fun to drive spirit, you actually feel it back here, because the way the windows are structured, and because you really know that you're in a Mini, even in the back seat. So they do an excellent job just keeping you in that trim level. Whereas when you get to the other brands, you're looking for more of a luxury or some upgrades. Mini just keeps it simple and smooth. Let's see how that drive is. Taking the 2023 Mini Cooper Countryman out for our test run. 2.0 liter Mini twin power turbo with a little less than 200 horsepower. I mean, you're at 189 horsepower, 207 pound-feet of torque. The 7-speed Steptronic dual clutch transmission is really where it's at, because that's going to make it a lot more aggressive. The weight to this, just around 3,500 pounds for the curb weight, so it's a light vehicle. As you're driving it, it's gonna feel a little bit more sport-tuned as well, especially with that dual clutch transmission being in there. You will notice it right away. And what I do like about it is it keeps that heritage of the go-kart. And that's exactly what you're looking for with this vehicle. When you're comparing it to the rivals, you don't really have that fun spirit. You just have turbo. That's all they stress. This stresses more of a fun to drive vehicle. We're going to set it up straight. We're going to put it in manual so we can see how it is. Stop in the middle of the road. Here we go. Going to get loud inside, and comparing it to the rivals, it probably will be the loudest. But the fun to drive spirit, you're not going to get too much of that until you go into the Mazda CX-30 turbo engine, and that one has a lot more power, but then the price also escalates to more as well. Red light, green light, turn radius check at a stop point. It's going to get about 2 and a part lane. Here we go. It's just fun in nature. It is a lot louder. You don't feel like you're riding on the ground, so I do feel like I'm lifted up pretty decent. The shifting on the transmission is good. I like the paddle shifters. I do wish that they were not such plastic, but I understand because we're around $37,000 price point. So you're not really going to expect it to be like fully luxury or see some aluminum here and there. And brakes, not bad either. You have good visibility too, because you do sit up enough. The A-pillars are pushed back because it's more of an oval structure to the front windscreen. And looking at the back windows, you can actually see all the way back if you need to. Otherwise, use your blind spot monitoring. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be taking this Mini Cooper home. The 3 things that I like is you still have the same driving dynamics. And when I say you still have that, BMW took it over, you know, so you're not expecting to get all of the iconic styling and yet that drive of Mini. You're expecting it to be more grown up, and they keep the same attributes of Mini, which is hard to keep when you are changing all the dynamics of the vehicle to make it more improved to BMW standards. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is how much space you have. Cargo is insane. When you compare it to any of the rivals, even if they're longer, you still have more cargo capacity, more storage in the door panels or pockets. It's just great that they give you all of this in a daily use vehicle. Plus, just give it a little gas and it's fun to drive, liven it up. And look, I mean, quartering abilities, you can do a light maneuverability with the vehicle. It's not gonna be full-blown sports car spec, but that's the fun thing about a Mini. Put her in sport, here we go. It's definitely a fun car. The last thing that I like is how they pay attention to detail. When you're in this price point, typically a vehicle doesn't put that much emphasis on looking at details. And what they do with Mini on the interior and on the exterior, just putting all these different simple touches and yet making it still blend to the iconic Mini styling. That is something that sets it apart from the rivals. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is the air that circulates inside it. You have to put this thing on medium to high all the time. If you leave it sitting out in the sun, it takes a long time to cool off the vehicle in a hot area, and that takes back to the Mazda 3 hatchback. It has the same problem. The last thing that I dislike about the vehicle is a two-part. It's the tailgate and the back seats. The reason for both of them is you have to have the key fob in your pocket in order to open the tailgate. Unless you pop it here, then you got maybe 5-10 seconds to open it real quick. And then you have to almost slam it to close it. The back seats, you have to go outside, go inside through the rear and pull the lever down. It's a lot more work than the rivals, and I wish they would have cleaned that up just a little bit, because this is the SUV of Mini, and it just makes it a little bit less quickness in the sense of if I need to throw something in really quick, I gotta open the tailgate. Oh, I forgot my key. I gotta go inside, get the key, open the tailgate, go open the back seats. It's just more work. What I do like about the Countryman is that we have an alternative for the Mini. You can get a Mini Cooper S and it's gonna be more sporty. You get a convertible or a hardtop, and then you can get the Countryman and you got the SUV. So you have all capabilities to get yourself in the Mini line. When you go into Mazda convertibles, the only one that you're going to get is the MX-5. When you go into Honda, I mean, it's not going to be as playful as the Mini. When you go into Volvo, it's going to be more grown up in luxury. So this actually fits itself in a different class category, in my personal opinion. And I like it because of the fact that it's unique, and yet you have the dynamics, you have the fun to drive, you have the sportness even in the interior. You're not going to really receive any of that until you start going into a $40,000+ price point, and Mini backs it underneath that level. I like to thank Mini of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2023 Mini Cooper S Countryman for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click the next video, the subscribe button. Check out the details, the merchandise, the website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Ride. And to show you for maneuverability, the best part is this is not a top-heavy vehicle, so you can have some actual funness with it, and when you do it, you can see how it stays planted on the road. This is an SUV, and they did dynamics for that. And look, if I need to do a quick wrap around, you can do so. The fun to drive go-kart vehicle is still here.